This is my daughter-in-law. She made this. She makes customized cups with glitter, as you can see. If you'd like to order one, go to preciousdecals.com. Preciousdecals.com. And you can make your own decoration, your own little customized cup if you would like one. Just go to preciousdecals.com. That's PRECIOUS decals DECALS.com. Hello, hello. How are you? Welcome. She has other products as well, so you guys could go in there and go shopping if you'd like. You might want to make customized cups, customized t-shirts. She does t-shirts, cups, decals for your car, decals for your wall, just like you've seen on my wall. So if you guys are interested, that's where you can go. And give me a moment. Let me share another video. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Don't know why it's not showing up anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. Hey, Buddha, how are you? Thank you for coming. Give me a second. I'm about to show. I got my thing to act right, so I'll be able to share this. Maybe I gotta turn it up. Yeah, I do have to turn it up.
Gabby Petito.
Gabby's life matters.
Gabby's life darn sure did
Hello,
matter.
blogger. How are you?
She was a beautiful young woman that had her whole life ahead of
I'll let you
her,
guys watch
and your
this. Give me a
brother
second. I'll
snuffed
be
it
right
away,
back.
and you guys have helped cover it up and help him escape.
And you lied.
This is personal to us.
Public, Cassie. You decided to talk to the media and
Lie to them.
and say you didn't see Brian.
You're a liar.
The last time you seen him, he was before.
How is anybody supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth?
You were camping with them September 6th.
What did
With
you guys
your parents.
dispose of?
With your parents. You were camping with them.
There's no way all you guys.
So why
did
did you
that
lie?
camper. How'd you stay there?
Why
What
did
were
you lie,
driving?
Cassie? What are you trying to hide? What are you trying to hide? Now you want to stay silent?
Didn't want to
You
stay
didn't help
silent with
Gabby's
ABC,
family.
did you?
You didn't help Gabby's family when they were missing. You didn't help Gabby's family when they were missing.
We want to know what the hell's going on.
Thank you.
We want to know what the hell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you if you're going to be mean. We have fully cooperated with the police since September 11th when they called. I did not say that I saw my brother. I said I haven't been able to speak to him in reference to the time when I was called by the police. Since that point, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I have been honest.
What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. The thing about it is we know Gabby's family. Gabby,
We do too.
what do you want us to do?
We cooperate with the police. We're not supposed to talk to anybody, and you're making my children cry.
Was Brian with you on September 1st? Did he come to this
Yes,
house?
he came to this house with my parents in their Mustang, not the van. I did not know that he took that van back. I found out the next day with everybody else. We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else. And I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this. And you're not helping
Why
me
your
either.
parents? Why you're talking about
Because
yourself?
they're not talking to us either.
Why aren't
We
they
are just-
talking to you guys?
If I knew, I would say. I don't know.
Do you think they're involved? Your parents?
I don't know.
You don't know.
We know
You're not
nothing.
involved.
We have literally been finding everything out with the news like everybody else. My kids are upset. You're upsetting my neighbors, and all we want to do is let you guys know that we don't know.
What happened? What did you guys do on the 6th through the 8th at Fort
We
DeSoto?
were at Fort DeSoto on the 6th. We got there at around 2 o'clock, and we left around 8 because the kids had school the next day.
On the
We
6th?
On the 6th. We only stayed for about 6 hours.
Who was there?
My mom, my dad, my brother.
Would you guys be willing to go on record to say that you would like
We
your
have.
brother
The
Brian
FBI knows
Laundrie
all this. They've
to
known this
turn
since.
himself over
What
to the
what
authorities?
what
Of
was going on at
course.
Fort DeSoto campground? What were you guys doing? Like, were there was a campfire?
Yeah.
We had s'mores, we had dinner.
What did Brian say anything about?
We
Gabby?
had our kids there. Nothing came up.
He didn't say anything about Gabby.
No, we told
We
the
were-
FBI everything.
Did Brian
Everything.
go
The
over?
world does not need to know what the FBI knows. And that's why we're silent.
They've asked us to not say anything. Really.
This is me coming out against them.
They're suffering.
We're suffering.
Wow.
They're suffering.
Not to be fair.
I
They
understand your view.
I mean, to be fair,
100%.
so
I know.
We
really
could have
feel
too.
Bad for you, but again, I don't.
No,
feel bad.
I know. That's fine. You feel how you
So-
feel. We how we feel. My kids are upset. You're upsetting out that their aunt died from you people screaming it at them from the house. So that's not
Where
fair.
was that at?
On Saturday when you were here.
Your aunt died.
No, their aunt.
Their
Their
aunt,
aunt died.
Yes,
the future aunt.
they considered her Aunt Gabby forever. So
Be honest with you, we can't even hear the outside.
We tried.
I mean,
So where else have you seen Brian since
that's
September?
it. I have not
September
seen
6th.
anybody after 8 o'clock on September 6th. I have not spoken.
Hello,
How long did they stay
Miss
there? Like,
Miss B. How are you guys?
did Brian go
Buddha,
off on
how
his
are
own?
you? Blogger, how are you?
We
what
don't
we've
know.
been told, we know as much as you.
Did you? So when he came here September,
Wanted to surprise the kids to pick them up at school. I did not know that Brian was with them when we had previously planned to hang out with them. This is not what we want to be doing. This is not how we want the world to find out when we're angry and upset. But I can't have my kids be crying for 3 days in a row.
what did the FBI take out of the house? What
Nothing.
they came here?
Yes.
Brian,
We met with them multiple times.
you met with them multiple times. Did they ask you for like polygraphs or anything like that?
No, but
We're not.
we don't
We're
know.
not involved in this at all.
He's my brother,
Not
and
like the
that's it.
parents are-
The parents, we've been
We
outside the
can-
parents'
I
homes for
understand.
2 weeks straight.
I know. I've been
There's-
watching
there's
because
people
the
out there.
only
They
way
want, they
I find
feel
things out is the
your
news.
family's involved. The cloud is suspicious.
Sure.
The reason why we're here for
Of
you
course, we
is because
totally
the media,
understand.
the
I know.
media,
The media ended up misconstruing what I said when they asked me if I had seen my brother. Like I said in the beginning, they didn't say, "Have you seen Brian?" It was, "What's the weirdest thing about this all?" It was, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I tried to contact him after this. I tried to contact my family after this. I hadn't been able to speak to my brother.
Do you know
That's
about
it.
any additional burner phones?
I have no idea.
so you don't know nothing.
No, he's my brother that I don't talk to that much.
And the parents ain't talking to you. Your own parents are not talking to you for what reason? They just,
The lawyer said no.
who's the lawyer?
They're my parents' lawyer. We
Their
don't have a
lawyers.
lawyer. We have nothing to hide. We were told not to talk to anybody, and I'm upset that we have to come out and do this and then explain myself to the FBI.
So
So
when Gabby was missing, the parents weren't even looking for her. They weren't even out looking for her.
We don't even know what they knew. We can
Do you
assume.
know that she was missing when they went to Fort DeSoto?
No.
You didn't have
September
no clue that
11th,
she was
the
missing.
detective that was working with Gabby's mom called me up while we were on vacation,
We were in Orlando.
and then I called her back because we were eating dinner, and I told her everything she needed to know. We told them from day one that we were at Fort DeSoto with them on the 6th, and that they came over here on the 1st. The police has known everything that's out there the whole time, from September 11th night on. That's when I became involved, and I knew nothing before that.
So what were your thoughts after you found out she was missing and your brother was here by himself and in her van and ran up $1,000 on her
These
credit
are
card?
things we're not allowed to answer.
Have you ever seen Brian hit Gabby?
No.
Have you ever seen him fight?
No.
Have you ever seen him hit any woman he's
No,
with?
I've never seen him be abusive or angry in anything. No.
You know that we talked to neighbors. We canvassed your parents' neighborhood.
Yeah.
They've heard screams coming out of your parents' house on multiple occasions.
Parents.
Okay.
Screams.
I don't know what to tell you about
Might have
that.
been our kids. We lived there for.
Listen closely to what she
You
says.
lived at the
Yeah.
home in El Paso.
And
Yeah, when
Gabby
they-
and Brian lived with us.
When they were in New York.
You've never seen them fight, argue.
They, of course, you know, we bicker,
nothing.
everybody bickers, but nothing like no
Nothing that
domestic
would constitute
anything.
domestic violence.
No,
No.
yes, or else we would have done something about it.
Right.
Like, I don't stand for that. I was in a bad relationship similar to that. I wouldn't let that happen.
She cut that off. She basically said,
I thought evil monsters were
hold on.
made out to be.
You guys got to listen to what she said. She said she wouldn't let that happen because she was in a similar situation and she cut it off because she knew she was about to say something. Listen closely, guys.
A lot of people just want answers. There's a
I
cloud
know.
of suspicion.
Made out to be.
A lot of people just want answers. There's a
I
cloud
know.
of suspicion.
We want
Nobody,
answers.
nobody,
You
nobody
think
came to
I
your house.
want
I'm
this?
sure. To after it came out in the media, they said, "Oh, you lied." They said that you
Yeah,
misled
I've
the
been accused of lying,
saying
but
that you
it's
didn't
not
see him.
right. I didn't say that I didn't see him. I said I didn't speak to him. After that question was like, what was the weirdest thing that I haven't been able to talk to my brother? As in, from the 11th forward, I have not been able
So
to
the
talk to
media
my
is
brother.
flying around.
Yes,
You read the transcript. It's right
the transcripts are out there of everything that was said, and then I was misquoted on inside the article, but that's not what I said. I'm sincere. I want
I think
Gabby
you guys
found.
need to make like a public statement telling Brian to turn himself in. I think that would ease a lot of people's.
We don't even know if he's on the run or he's.
You think he's dead?
We have no idea.
Where does he camp around? Like where else besides Fort DeSoto?
We've told the
Sure she's
the
getting
FBI everything.
When
Everything.
you guys were children, obviously your whole family's outdoorsy. So when you guys were children, you know, like every summer I went to a place. Where was your summer vacations at?
We didn't have that. We grew up on a great street where our summer vacation was hanging out with our friends. So
It's a tough situation,
I know.
and I'm hearing you, and I appreciate you guys coming out. And
Yeah,
talking.
definitely appreciate that.
We do
Yeah.
respect that.
We're
And
trying
that's
to
why.
not to save our neighbors.
Yeah.
And this, again, if no one, I don't think anyone would have ever came to your house
no, I
until
know.
the media
And
came out and said, "Well,
Sure.
the media, my parents' lawyer really screwed me over by saying that he just
Well, I
stopped
saw
by.
the comment that
He did
made.
not just stop by on the way home, and I was livid. And I'm not speaking to anybody.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
done. Because that put me in danger. That made my kids find out this horrible way with questions. We were waiting until there was some kind of closure, so the kids were just sad instead of sad, worried, and now really scared of you guys.
well, based off all the stuff on the internet, do you think Brian killed Gabby?"
I don't know. The internet is the internet.
If you had anything to say to Gabby's family, what would you say?
We've already reached out through the FBI for them, so
Yeah, there's-
yes.
I mean, I know the family personally, and I can share this. What do you have to say to Gabby's family?
I don't have anything to say right now because the police have told us specifically
Not the
not to talk to anybody or anything.
And she's going outside of that talking to you.
Yeah.
So,
sure we'll get off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna do.
as long as you didn't say anything that you didn't tell them.
They know everything.
No, they know
So-
everything. 100% honesty. September 11th night forward, we've been cooperative. They've
It's
come
just
over. We've
frustrating
met them.
The
100.
family's upset because they're not getting the belongings from Gabby that are in the parents'
We
home.
have no idea what they have or
They
don't
won't
have.
get- they won't
Yeah.
get home.
I don't know.
Parents have hung up the phone on them.
I mean, it's just frustrating, you know?
I'd also like to say that not to upset Mr. Petito any further, but I did not get any phone calls from him in the days prior to this September 11th. September 11th, I checked my phone records. I don't see any. He maybe had the wrong number for me. So I was
And
not
please hit
ignoring
that
his
like.
phone
I'd
calls. I
appreciate
didn't
it.
get them.
Thank you.
First one was from the.
And that could have
Suffolk
happened.
County.
You could
Yeah.
have the wrong phone. It was very easy. So
And we called them right back.
it doesn't, you know,
It's sad.
in our
It's
view,
sad
this is
situation.
not how
It's
innocent
sad.
people
I don't know what
Sure.
to think, but I appreciate you guys coming out,
yeah, definitely.
and I do appreciate
We hope
coming
that
out.
they
I don't know
say
what to
something
think.
eventually. Or
I-
do
yeah, I
something.
hope that-
mean, it's,
Yeah, to us, the silence was like a form of guilt. You understand?
Oh yes,
Like-
I understand. But for us, silence was not guilt. Silence was
Well,
the
nobody
FBI
came
telling
here
us
until
not
the
to.
lie
Yes,
was the truth.
I know.
So,
yeah, there's
and-
plenty of people here, but
Oh, they have to
media,
lie.
but no.
yeah.
But there's just people upset. They just want answers. They want Brian
know.
because he's on the loose.
Trust me, I understand
Whether
too.
he's dead or
I
alive,
want
he's
him
out
to
there.
be found because one,
The
this
sooner
is
he's found,
for
the
us.
sooner this is over for
Yeah,
us. We can start the
And that's what we
court
keep
process.
trying to express to your parents is that if they can just come out and just start cooperating,
We're making a statement.
making a
I
statement,
know.
we will go away.
I've
I
been.
mean, we have to. We are here
Same
for
boat.
the Petito family. They are suffering bravely. Things that you will never even feel, and it's just deplorable right now. You know, having your family destroyed, and then the people that you trusted your family member with.
Protect his client because she's not their client.
So I'm just as mad.
Did they have a storage
Just as
shed,
hurt.
Gabby and
They have a storage locker.
Brian? You know where it was?
I have no idea.
Do you know if what date your brother flew back, or your dad paid for the plane?
Didn't even let me pay for the plane.
Did he fly back?
Yes,
From
he flew back
like
and they
around, like,
emptied
what,
the
the
storage
17th or
unit
something?
and put it into their house.
around like the 17th or something?
Yeah,
After the
he
flight.
got here on the 17th. I don't know what day he left.
Did you see him on that trip?
Yes.
What was discussed? I mean, was he discussed
Nothing.
about?
They were talking. Or he was telling me where they were going next. I FaceTimed with Gabby and the kids on that trip. I mean, I didn't.
Did he say he got in a fight with Gabby?
No.
You can talk about that
I was
incident.
just not
Hello,
surprised
hello.
to us, too.
Yeah. We're unfortunately in the dark as much as everybody else, and more
What was
so.
your brother like when he was in middle school and a teenager? What was he
I
like?
didn't live in the house at the time.
Has he ever been violent with you?
No.
Never
Violent with
fight with
anybody?
your brother. I mean, me and my sister went
I-
at it. She pulled my hair, kicked me in my eye.
We're 8 or 9 years apart. We're not.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah. He's not like my. We were little together, brother. I mean, I was out
But
of
you
the
guys
house when
lived
he
in
was
the
a
house at
teenager.
Possible. Everybody lived there.
No, my parents lived in New York.
Oh, they lived in New York. You
And
lived in New York.
yeah, we
We were
were.
remodeling the
And
house.
then Brian
so
and Gabby came there.
When they moved down to Florida, they moved in with us to get on their feet
How did
and
they
find
meet?
jobs.
high school.
High
High
school.
school.
That's
Well,
right now. I feel like I'm answering too many things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
I
don't want to get in
understand.
trouble
And,
for.
and
and
I
I know you
appreciate
guys
the
understand.
respect. Out of
We-
respect, we're gonna
Yeah.
leave.
If I were you, change your strategy because
We don't
you
have
know,
strategy.
you don't have a strategy.
they don't
You
even
don't
have
have
a
anything
lawyer.
to hide. Gabby deserves better, and maybe help pressure your parents into doing the right thing. Because I'm telling you, Gabby's family's suffering bravely, and your parents know more than they're letting on. And it sounds like they deceived you, which is not good for any parent. And I'm just
We're not even
hoping that
talking
maybe
with them,
some pressure from the family might
tried.
help them cooperate with law enforcement so we can put an end to this. Like, I got better things to do. I'm burnt up. I've got chapped lips. You know, I'm sick and tired of being there. But
We
this
have a
is
beautiful
what
neighborhood.
we need from them.
We've been outside your parents' home for 2 weeks. We just want answers. We
I
want
do
them
too.
to come forward and share everything they know. But they refuse to, they just stay silent. They're in their home. Yesterday, they went out gardening in the back of their house, during, Brian's on the loose. They haven't given any public statement saying, hey, Brian, turn yourself in.
Or
You know?
help me find my son, or like nothing.
They're outside gardening.
Nothing.
They're
Like,
out
it's
Just
like,
gardening.
as baffled and blown away as
it's
everybody
like,
else.
going about our lives. Like
I don't
nothing
know.
happened.
I
Do you
know.
think,
I don't know what else.
have you heard about September 14th where Brian allegedly bought a burner phone at
from the
AT&T?
news?
From the, do you think his mom was with him? You think your mother? Because they
That's
said-
what the news says. I don't know what.
Brian didn't like the cell phone to begin with.
He didn't
So-
like cell phone. Is he like an outdoorsman? What is he like? What's his hobby? Like, does he like do camping like at outdoors? And do you think he could survive out in the woods for a
I
month?
think anybody could survive out in the woods for a month. You can grab a book and go out there and try.
I don't know if I asked before, but do you think he's alive?
I hope so.
You hope so. See,
I hope so too.
I think people want him held accountable, but no harm done.
Yeah.
No, of course.
We don't want harm done to him. We just want him held accountable for his actions.
We would like to give his nephews an answer to when they can see their grandparents again. When, see their uncle or talk to them. Anything. Like, he was their hero, so
I'm sorry for your guys' pain. I'm sorry for you guys' pain.
but it,
What you're doing, but
He's
and
their
again,
hero.
You
What?
don't any violence on your parents.
Nope.
We've been out there,
We're
but we
actually
haven't.
protesting against violence.
We've been out there, but we haven't went on the property. We don't want anyone doing any damage to their house. We don't want anybody to storm their house. We just want answers. We want them to come forward. You know, hopefully they'll do that
tomorrow.
Hopefully,
Yes,
you know,
Every day I
we would
wake
like
up
to
and
be
check my
honest,
phone
I
and
pray.
hope that they
I
found
pray.
them. Like every
I've
day.
been praying for the last couple of days, saying I hope they repent and do what's right. Just like I prayed for you guys. I prayed that I'd be able to speak to you guys, or you guys would come out and give answers. I prayed for that the last couple of days. I said, you know, and this might happen, and it did. God bless you guys, and you know, it's just hope this gets resolved quickly, because you know, the longer he's out,
No,
it's a danger.
I agree, but no, I agree. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that this is
Thank you. We are
come
leaving.
first.
We are leaving, and we're not coming back. I'm not coming back.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you.
I'd be coming
Like
back.
garbage,
Say her name.
Gabby Petito.
I'd come back, especially if there's some more information to find out. I'd come back. Okay, so let's see. Hold on, I'm pulling it up now.
On the side of a West Houston road. Police are saying her husband, Tom Sharkey, was wanted for her murder. However, as authorities attempted to make that arrest last night in Florida, he took his own life.
The investigation determined that Thomas Sharkey, her husband, is the only person who had the means, motive, and opportunity to have committed the murder.
Nearly a year after authorities say 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey was strangled to death and found on the side of a West Houston road, police are saying her husband, Thomas Sharkey, is who they believe to be responsible.
We established that there was a history
How
of
do
domestic
people do
violence
these things?
between the two of them, and that the relationship was ending and that there was a pending divorce. There was also clear evidence that Thomas Sharkey had not been truthful about several key issues and statements that he made to police.
Authorities say an arrest warrant was obtained for Thomas Sharkey on September 29th, and the intent was to formally charge him with his wife's murder once he was arrested. U.S. Marshals found him staying with a relative in Fort Myers, Florida, and attempted to arrest him last night.
Mr. Sharkey avoided them, ran upstairs when he learned that law enforcement was there for him, and he took his own life using a firearm.
Sergeant Burrows says Alexis' parents are now aware of Tom's death, what he calls the latest in a tragic series of events for both families.
I can tell you this, they're very wonderful people, her parents, and they actually felt a great deal of sadness for Tom Sharkey's family.
Well, as for the investigation, Sergeant Burrows says they aren't looking into anyone else and believe that this case will be cleared by the death of Tom Sharkey. Of course, there are a lot of questions as to exactly what led up to Alexis' death. Those are details that police just aren't releasing at this time.
Wow.
My name is Kellyanne Cox. I have been abducted, raped, murdered, dumped, and buried.
How scared she had to have been.
He has no remorse for killing the girls.
What could be a nightmare comes true for some Tiki Island parent.
I know something's happened because this is just not her. This is out of the ordinary.
Searchers could barely put one foot in front of the other.
And Laura asked to go for a run, and then she didn't come back. We knew something was wrong.
But our top story tonight, a man and his dog discovered a badly decomposed body.
It was on TV that Tiffany was missing. Her car was abandoned after he killed her and raped her. He just dumped her like a bag of trash.
He's a monster. He's a predator.
Not just any monster for me. That's the monster who took away my mom.
William Lewis Reese. You have the right to remain silent, not make any statement at all.
He eluded the police at least for 19 years.
William Reese had a criminal history, which included aggravated kidnapping.
We brought Reese out there, had him demonstrate to us how he buried the bodies in.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth, Bill.
He gives a version of the truth to make himself look better.
He was only giving us shades of the truth.
I started choking her. She was still fighting me, and I grabbed that rope and wrapped it around her.
William Reese was more like a wild animal.
State of Oklahoma versus William Reese.
He knew that justice was coming. The time was up.
There's an old saying in the law, justice delayed is justice denied. I sentence you to death.
I don't expect him to say sorry.
I'm not taking my death penalty off. I still stand by that.
Guilty.
Stay tuned to see what Reese's next move is.
I think he's got another ace or two up the sleeves.
4 young women, each disappear with no explanation. One had gone out for a jog, another had been at a theater cast party, a third on a college field trip, and another vanished from
Setting
a
up the
car
live?
wash.
What time
For
are you
almost
going
2
on?
decades, their families searched for answers about what really happened to them until a stunning confession from a Texas prison.
Oh, Laura was beautiful. You know, there's some people who are touched by light, and Laura was certainly one of those people. Everyone who knew Laura loved Laura. She was incredibly smart. She could have done anything. She had so much to contribute. It
Yeah,
would have been
definitely.
An amazing
What time are
thing
you
to see
supposed to
what
go
she would have
on?
done in life if she had been allowed to live.
But our top
You're so
story tonight,
sweet,
she's only
Buddha.
12 years
What time are you
old,
going
and
on,
at this
girl?
hour, she's missing. Did she just wander off, or is there foul play involved?
On the morning of April 3rd, 1997, Gay and Bob Smithers' lives changed forever.
We were homeschooling at the time, and so I started making breakfast, and Laura asked to go for a run.
3?
That was highly
Okay.
unusual. Because
So that's
Laura
3 your
did
time
not
or 3 my
like
time?
Running, but she had been inspired
Because you're
to
an hour
do
past me,
cardio
so
for
I
her
would, it would
ballet.
be 2 o'clock my
Ballet
time,
was
unless it's
her
3 o'clock my
great
time, 4
love.
o'clock your time.
And so she asked to go running, and it never occurred to me that it would be dangerous.
Their 12-year-old daughter, Laura, was the light of their lives. She was a gifted student and an aspiring ballerina who had just been accepted into the
2:23 over
Houston
there,
Ballet
right?
Academy.
So at
And
3
I
o'clock your
also
time
thought,
then.
oh, well, she won't be out there very long.
Okay.
And
I'll
then
just
she didn't
get
come back.
get some
We
of this
knew
out, and then
something
I'll
was wrong
hop over there as soon as I
right
get
away.
done, okay?
She used to ride her bike when I would run.
I'm
So
just
I
gonna
would
get like an
know
hour,
more or
maybe a
less where
couple of
she-
hours, and
where
then
she
I'll
would
be
have
over
gone.
there.
So I checked that
You gonna
very
be on
quickly,
there for the
and
whole
she wasn't
time?
there, and came back and called the police.
Within 10 minutes.
I'm ending in a
policeman
let me
would
see.
be at the
I'm
house
already at
taking her off.
28 minutes, so
By that evening, I mean,
about an hour and a half.
I'd made
Because
a
I'm not
number of
doing
phone
my
calls
11 like I
to
did
get more
11
people
hours
to come
yesterday.
help,
That was ridiculous.
and we had spent the day searching all over the area.
Did you see anything unusual at this time yesterday?
And by that night, the media had got wind of it.
Her parents say she went out for an early morning jog in the neighborhood of 9 o'clock this
Buddha.
morning along this very road and simply never came back.
And so all the trucks had already shown up, and helicopters were circling the house. And the next morning, there were hundreds and hundreds of people. And very quickly, leaders within our community stepped up and organized the search.
Searchers could barely put one foot in front of the other.
I've been overwhelmed by the community support and the police. What was it like for you and your family last night? Don't ask me.
She is a very good girl. Something very unusual has happened that she would have been home. There's no question she would have been home.
So many of our dear friends now we met out of that search.
I have 4 children of my own, and I can't imagine being in this position.
They were extraordinary.
I've got 3 nieces. I'd hate for it to happen to one of them.
Every day, people who just stepped forward, mothers and fathers. People from the community who didn't know Laura. I mean, many of them did.
I just want to let her know that we are going to find you, and we're not going to stop until we do find you.
But many more of them didn't.
We offer it to you and pray that you would watch over Laura wherever she is.
I was a family friend, still a family friend of Bob and Gabe Smithers.
I got a call from one of the Cub Scout leaders asking me to run a search the next morning, April 8th. I showed up the next morning out on Moore Road. It was a whirlwind, and everybody got caught up in it. The city and people from all over Houston put their lives on hold and came and tried to find Laura. And then I ended up running the search some way.
You mean Trending
How?
Live,
It
second
just happened.
channel?
I don't know.
The desperate search for a 12-year-old girl in
Hold on.
Friendswood is on this afternoon. Now police are calling it an abduction. The FBI has joined the case.
Alan, FBI is here, Coast Guard is here, the National Guard is here, but what has been most impressive is just the volunteer effort that we have seen from this community.
6,000 people, it was estimated, searched for Laura. It still makes me cry. That's a tiny example of the tremendous compassion that the community had.
But 1 week passed, and then 2, with no sign of Laura.
So it says
on Sunday, April
Trending
20th,
2?
the community crowded into the auditorium at Friendswood High
Buddha?
School for an update on the search.
Obviously, we're encouraged when there are new leads, but we wait for the final phone call that says that they found Laura.
During that town hall meeting, the chief received a page. I think everybody in that room knew something had happened.
I was sitting next to the police chief at that time named Jared Stout, and he got his phone buzzed, and he looked
It
over
says
at me
Blogger
and frowned.
2.0,
and said,
that's
"Mike,
the
I gotta go."
channel.
We all knew. We just knew. We didn't know what, but we knew something had happened.
Is it on her, like, you know
Our
how like
top
it says
story
Trending
tonight,
Live
a
TV
man
and then
and
it'll
his
say
dog
channels
discovered
and then it
the
has the
badly
channels on
decomposed
here?
body
Which
of
one
what
is
authorities
it?
say is a young girl. The discovery made in a sector.
Hold on.
Part of the search for Laura Kate Smith.
And it was probably around 10 o'clock that night that the chief came that night to say that a body had been found.
After 17 days, Laura's body turned up at the edge of a retention pond in
Oh,
Pasadena,
that's hers?
Texas.
Okay.
About
All right.
12 miles from where she'd gone missing.
So is it the one
The
that
only
says
clothing she
Blogger
had on
2.0 over
was a
me?
pair of socks.
Over your
The
name?
Harris County Medical Examiner's Office determined she had been beaten, and there were signs of strangulation.
So of course, we immediately refused to believe it. And then it took until noon the next day. They came back to say that the identification was made, and he said, "It is our girl."
The young woman found off Beltway 8 is Laura Kate Smither. The Smither family is in seclusion. Once again, they ask for your understanding,
I already have it, babe.
and privacy is what they wish most at this time.
Friendswood was heartbroken, shocked,
Where's it at?
and left in
Right
fear
there,
of
see?
a predator
Subscribe.
on the loose. Police began to question anyone who had been in the same area as the Smither home on the morning of April 3rd.
It
Thank
came
you.
up
Appreciate
that
you
there was
being
this
in here.
man in the area who was a sex offender, and they brought him in for questioning.
His name was William Lewis Reese, a 38-year-old construction worker who had served time in prison
You're welcome.
in Oklahoma for rape. He had just been released the previous year.
William Reese was actually an equipment operator, and he was working in the Windsor Estates subdivision
Hey, Shay, how are
located
you?
off of West Parkwood Avenue here in the city. Rained that day, so there wasn't work. I think he showed up for work, but he was released early.
He had left the construction site approximately at the same time Laura Smithers ended up disappearing, and then he comes back by about 30 minutes later.
And who can place him there?
We have eyewitnesses that can place him at that location.
William Reese was always the number one suspect. We just had to be able to make a case on him. But part of the process was going back and eliminating, make sure all those other suspects were eliminated, which was a long, drawn out process.
He was on their radar very early on, but they didn't have anything to link him to Laura.
On the campus of the University of North Texas, it's hard not to notice this stunning
All right, I'm gonna try another. This was doing good. Just working up. Oh wow, girl. All right, hold on. I'm gonna do a shorter video. Oh, can't even hear anything.
6:15 this evening. SON, I'm a lieutenant with Houston Police Department. At about 6:15 this evening, our Central Patrol officers were dispatched to 2800 Princeton on a welfare check. We had a relative that had not heard from another relative for at least all day. They went to check on that relative. They went into the townhouse, went through the first floor of the townhouse, saw some things that caused them some concern, went back out of the townhouse, requested the police come to the apartment. Officers went to the apartment, searched the apartment, found an adult male deceased.
I showed the
apparent
video
gunshot
you
wounds inside
sent
the
me,
apartment.
Shay.
Our homicide investigators are on scene. They're talking to the witnesses, looking for video surveillance. As soon as we have more information, we'll pass that along to y'all.
Can't get much better than that. Did you have that rehearsed?
He's
I've
so
done this
cool.
a couple of times.
Did you give sound
Appreciate
before?
that, vlogger.
Yeah, I gave, yeah.
To the other guy?
Trending.
Okay. Description of suspect?
Right now, we don't have any suspects. Like I say, we just have a family member that was concerned about the welfare, came over to the apartment. Police responded to the location, checked the apartment, and like I say, found an adult male deceased from apparent gunshot wounds. So our homicide investigators are just at the beginning of the investigation.
This is
Hopefully
in
there'll be some
Texas, Shay.
witnesses here or,
I don't know what's going on
video
over there in
surveillance
Texas,
that'll
but they
help us
just
get a
keep on
suspect
getting them.
description and a timeline on the, a timeline on the crime.
Any forced entry?
Don't know at this point. Doesn't look like it, but we haven't checked the whole apartment yet.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on. Let me share this other one. I just fell off with it. Took off the wrong one. Hold on. Let me pull it back up. This one's a little bit shorter. The other one was like an hour and something. But I want to go give I want to go get on Buddha's live and show support. She's going to be reading a book. Buddha, let them know what time you're coming on and all that, sweetie. All right, I pulled it up. Now let me share it.
To find this 13-year-old girl. The biggest fear here is that this guy may, use her as somebody for sex.
No, just let them know what time you're going on and
it is. It's a very,
drop
very
your link in
concerning.
here.
I was actually not very familiar with the case until I started reading about it. And from what I understand, this child is in a very high risk situation. From what I've read, she's previously potentially been a victim of trafficking before, which is not uncommon. Those are the children that are most commonly preyed upon by these predators.
You don't have it.
Additionally,
Okay,
I
I'll drop
also
the link.
understand that she may have been in state
I'm going to
care
drop the link. Wait,
at the
so
time
you
as
haven't
well,
even,
placing
like,
her in a
are you
very,
finished
very
setting it up
high-risk
or no?
situation. And so
Oh,
this
you're
is
trying to
very
set it up.
unfortunate
Okay,
situation.
well, after you
It's
finish
very
setting up, let
scary.
me know.
And we all need to be aware and alert and actively looking for this girl.
Yeah.
And you said so. I'm sure she's a vulnerable person just with her situation, and I'm sure how she feels and her environment, how she grew up, everything that she's had to live through.
Sorry.
I guess you
I'll
would
leave
say
you
that
alone. Go
these
set it up, woman.
people prey on women on young girls like that and sort of groom them, right?
Right. That use of term is actually very important. So one of the things that we need to be aware of when we think about, sexual exploitation and sex trafficking and all of these risks are that our children now, our teens and even our tweens, most of them have access to the internet, right? Whether it be through a cellular phone or through an iPad or a tablet or some sort of device. And so that makes it very easy for predators then to gain access to our children. And so, yes, absolutely, particularly those children who are most vulnerable, right? And predators they engage in a very long-term grooming process. And oftentimes what that looks like is not what we might imagine. You know, Hollywood does somewhat glamorize sex trafficking victimization, unfortunately. And so we oftentimes see, you know, movies like Taken or, you know, Man on Fire, where, you know, it's this, you know, horrific, terrifying event. Where that's not what we often see in terms of these online cases. Oftentimes we see the introduction is made and there's a process by which the child victim is made to feel loved and accepted. And of course, this is all false, right? But for teenagers and tweens and at-risk kids, this is exactly what they want to hear. Oftentimes they are gifted things online. Items can be sent to their house or electronically. And slowly but surely, these children become isolated. Predators know what they're doing. And so they tell these kids, you know, you don't want to talk to your parents about this. You know, they're terrible to you. Come with me. I'll keep you safe. I love you. I accept you for who you are. And again, that's exactly what every teenager wants to hear, right? They are loved and accepted. And so the risk factors there are extraordinarily high. Predators know what they're doing when they get access to our kids. There's a high level of psychological involvement. And oftentimes what we see is that when we interact with these children is that they don't even really truly recognize that they have been victimized. They think that they are in very loving and safe relationships, would be the term that they would use, even though that's inappropriate, right? We know that that's not an appropriate relationship, but they think that they're safe and they're being cared for when in fact they're being exploited.
Yeah, that's the scary part, that they think it's okay and they don't realize they're a victim. Let's talk about, I know I have a short time here because I have to quickly turn this around. Talk to me about signs and things that parents need to look out for just to make sure this doesn't happen to them.
Right. And I think that that's really important, is that just because we are talking about a young lady who may be in a higher risk demographic, we need to know that this happens all around, you know, our city and our neighborhood, in our community, domestically with our children. And so the first thing that we need to think about in terms of, you know, protecting our kids is to have open lines of communication. So for parents to keep prevention on the front end. So having very upfront, very open communication with your child about this is what may happen on the internet. And I'm not saying you have to scare your child, but telling your child that you acknowledge that you know what could happen on the internet, and even young children, telling them things to keep them safe, like, you know, not sharing your name and your address and your location and, you know, your personal information, that people may pretend to be something that they're not on the internet. So that way, should something happen, that your child knows that they can come to you because you've already kind of acknowledged the elephant in the room, right? And so that's one thing that's very important. Another thing that I would encourage all parents to do is to invest in some sort of a monitoring software. Apps constantly change, things are constantly updating, and for us to try to keep up with everything, it's exhausting. And so there's a lot of really good monitoring software out there that parents can use so that they can help keep their kids safe. Because kids end up in these situations and oftentimes they don't know what to do or how to deal with them, or if their parents are going to get upset or angry with them. And then that's kind of my final takeaway would be children, adolescents, tweens, teens, even young children for sure, but certainly our teenagers and our tweens, they desperately need affection and attention. And they need to know that even when they mess up, and even when they're in a bad mood, and even when they're not really following the rules like they should, that we love them and that we'll be there for them, and that we care for them, and they need to be shown affection. They need to be told that they're loved, regardless of, you know, what their current status or mood may be. And if teenagers aren't getting that at home, if these kids aren't getting that at home, oftentimes they will seek that out in other outlets, and predators, they know this, right? So reminding your teenager that they are beautiful
Okay,
on
Shay.
the inside, that you're proud of them. You know, and in everyday, you know, small things, not just when it's report card time or not just when they've done great, you know, on a sporting event, but you know, something as minor as, hey, I saw you did this thing today for a younger sibling, or I noticed when you were walking out of school, you held the door for someone. I'm really proud to parent someone like you. I'm extraordinarily proud of you. Those things can make the world of difference in terms of prevention for your kid.
Okay, perfect. Anything else, Elizabeth? I think that's it for me.
No, I just, my thoughts are really with this child. This is absolutely heartbreaking. And I really do want to encourage everyone to just keep their eyes open for this victim, this child. And also, again, because of what we see on television, right? It would not be uncommon to see her out laughing and enjoying herself because of this high level of psychological manipulation. So I think it might be easy for someone who may have seen this child victim to accidentally mistake her for someone else because they're anticipating, you know, again, what we see on television. So I just, I'm hoping for her safe return.
My name is Kellyanne Cox. I have been abducted, raped, murdered, dumped, and buried.
How scared she had to have been.
He has no remorse for killing. He would, and he goes, why didn't God take?
Obviously, we're encouraged when there are new leads.
By that evening, I mean, I'd made a number of phone calls.
What really happened to them until a
Laura asked to go for a ride. The policeman was here at the house taking off.
Don't ask me.
She is a
Don't ask me.
she is a very good girl. Something very unusual has happened that she would have been home. There's no question she would have been home.
So many of our dear friends now we met out of that search.
I have 4 children of my own, and I can't imagine being in this position.
They were extraordinary.
I've got 3 nieces. I'd hate for it to happen to one of them.
Everyday people who just step forward, mothers and fathers.
Yeah.
People from the community who didn't know Laura. I mean, many of them did.
I just want to let her know that we are going to find you, and we're not going to stop until we do find you.
But many more of them didn't.
We offer it to you and pray that you would watch over Laura wherever she is.
I was a family friend, still a family friend of Bob and Gabe Smithers. I got a call from one of the Cub Scout leaders asking me to run a search the next morning, April 8th. I showed up the next morning out on Moore Road. It was a whirlwind, and everybody got caught up in it. The city and people from all over Houston put their lives on hold and came and tried to find Laura. And then I ended up running the search some way. How? It just happened. I don't know.
The desperate search for a 12-year-old girl in Friendswood is on this afternoon. Now police are calling it an abduction. The FBI has joined the case.
Alan, FBI is here, Coast Guard is here, the National Guard is here, but what has been most impressive is just the volunteer effort that we have seen from this community.
6,000 people, it was estimated, searched for Laura. It still makes me cry. That's a tiny example of the tremendous compassion that the community had.
But 1 week passed, and then 2, with no sign of Laura. On Sunday, April 20th, the community crowded into the auditorium at Friendswood High School for an update on the search.
Obviously, we're encouraged when there are new leads, but we wait for the final phone call that says that they found Laura.
During that town hall meeting, the chief received a page. I think everybody in that room knew something had happened.
I was sitting next to the police chief at that time named Jared Stout, and he got his phone buzzed, and he looked over at me and frowned and said, Mike, I got to go.
We all knew. We just knew. We didn't know what, but we knew something had happened.
At our top story tonight, a man and his dog discover the badly decomposed body of what authorities say is a young girl. The discovery made in a sector that can be part of the
Okay, so I just want to let everybody know I am talking to Daniel's father, Daniel Robinson. Okay, and these are the questions that I had we were sitting down and we kind of went on through some questions that we wanted to ask you. Okay, so did they ask the coworker what Daniel was wearing that day?
I didn't hear anything in the police report, and none of that was ever given to me by the police department of that kind of question. No.
Okay. What about, does Daniel use any kind of tablet, laptop, or any kind of recording information devices?
Oh yeah, you have a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we found several in his apartment. Like I said, in the vehicle itself, there was a work laptop. That was, of course, a cell phone.
Okay. So did they look into any of that, into any of those devices to see any information on anything?
Yeah, I was told, Buckeye Police Department was able to access that the phone itself, and that was done through my daughter. She, my children, they kind of share passwords to each other, so they was able to get in there, his cell phone. And also, since everything's turned over to me, and I gave it to my investigator, he in turn now have possession of all the other electronics that Buckeye don't have, of course. That was in his apartment, things like that.
Okay. And what was the last time the phone was used? What was the last time they used? Well, the last time he used the phone, and where was it pinged from?
And that's the thing. Buckeye had never gotten a ping location on that cell phone, of course, because they didn't get a warrant, and they didn't never get a location of his Uconnect in his vehicle, because of course they're saying that they didn't get a warrant. Well, then they backtrack and said, yeah, they did look at the Uconnect and got all 0 grids or something. I don't know what that means. But to your question, I forgot your question.
No, I was saying like the ping from the phone.
Yeah, the pings. Yeah, he didn't get any pings at all. They didn't get no ping locations, and we've been asking about that, of course, as a family. No kind of ping location, no anything. So
Okay.
we're aware of.
Did he have any female friends that he might have been involved with?
No, not that I know of. Because he didn't have a girlfriend at the time, so he went missing. So I don't know anybody. No.
Okay, so he did have a girlfriend though, you said?
No.
Or did not have a girlfriend. Okay. And when did he move to South Carolina, you said? I think you said 2 years ago?
Yeah, he came from South Carolina, about 3 years ago now.
3 years ago? Okay.
Right out of college.
Okay.
Landed his first job here in Arizona, in Phoenix.
All right.
Been working there.
Okay. And did the company help you in any way to like locate him, give you any information to where he might be?
No. The only thing I got from his job matrix is the initial looking for him, because he didn't, I guess, when he left the job site, it was, I guess, given to them, and they went to my daughter's house asking if he showed up there. That's the extent of their search. They didn't go in the desert. On time, matrix had anything with the desert searches on my searches. They came out to assist. Like, for instance, they would guide you in at the gate. That's the kind of thing I asked them to do. They guide people in at the gate to our command center. They also joined in on the foot searches with the search that I created. But anything other than that on their own, no, they haven't done anything, any kind of search at all.
Okay. And what day was that the guy, the owner of the property, found the Jeep on his property?
That was on July the 19th.
July the 19th. Okay. So that was basically a little under a whole month before he found that Jeep, correct?
Exactly, right. Exactly.
And then he found it like 2 days after he already been out there, and he said there was no Jeep.
That's what I was about to mention. Yeah, he's been there through there several occasions, according to him. Of course, he chases cattle. He's, I think, 4th generation owner of that land up there, cattleman. And he said, yeah, he's been through there many times, and that vehicle wasn't there.
Wow. Okay, and how far is this place from the border to Mexico or to the border?
I do not know. I know was the south, of course, south of where my son's vehicle was found. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, even if you go south, you have to go through an airport, a small airport area through there. So I really don't know. Really, location and distance wise, I wouldn't know that.
Okay. The other question I had was, how did it go with that on Saturday? Searching for him with over 1,000 volunteers. How did that go?
Of course, we was happy to get the over 200 people that did show up, and I'm grateful for that because yeah, I mean, we need everybody and any help that we can get. So I'm always grateful for anybody. I don't care if it's 20 people. You know, just
Right.
the point of people showing up is beautiful. As in for the 1,000 signatures and sign up, I think there could have been a little error there, but at the same time, you know, that's the information that was given to me at the time when I was out saying, yeah, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000. That was the information that was given to me that signed up on the website. So, but like I said, I'm grateful for the people that did show.
Okay. Let's see. So they didn't find anything else? Nothing new?
Yeah, I myself and my investigator, we went down the washes. Of course, that's our main concern. Like this Saturday is going to be mainly, we have some people with ATVs, 4x4s, you know, things like that. Those type vehicles go down in those washes and down that river and also near the canal. We're working on that area. And last weekend, I did find some bones. A few of them we feel like it was cow bones, of course. But some of them are questionable. But the ones that was questionable to us, we just went ahead and sent those over to the Buckeye. Police, we made them aware of it.
Okay. So you guys are actually finding more than just animal bones, correct?
Yes, that's true. We find the clothing. For instance, one search, recent search, last search, we found a pile of clothing sitting out near the well site. My son went missing. It's kind of ironic being in the same pattern in a sense, you know, the underwear, the pants, the shoes, you know, as it appears that this person was stripped down, his clothes was in the pile there, and but of course I realized that wasn't my son's because of the pant size. I mean, of course we don't touch those items, but you can see the pant size just by looking at it, taking pictures, and it didn't belong to my son, but it belonged to someone. But we turn those off, things like that. Even those things we'll turn over to the Buckeye Police Department. We don't hear anything else about it. They don't give us information. For instance, I got family members calling me about the skull and the other remains, and I can't give them information because Buckeye they'll take it, but they'll never give us anything back. You know, let us know what's going on.
Wow. Oh, the other question I had was, the guy that he was with, he was last seen with. Do you know what time he last seen him?
The gentleman that was from the company Weber, that was out there, my son and him, the only two out there at the well site, he mentioned that it was around roughly 9-ish in the morning when he said my son drove out from that site.
Okay, so do they normally work early like that, or like get off early like that, or was it like maybe something he had to go do?
Yeah, he's the way that works. He gets assigned a job. Sometimes he work at night, believe it or not. Sometimes he work in the day. You know, it's easy for him to be out there late. Some cities he go to, he has to, you know, actually get a hotel room, things like that. So it's not a time stamp type thing. He just get assignment. For instance, he went to a well site before he went to the one, he ended up missing that. He went there first, finished what he had to do there, and then showed up at that well site around close to 9-ish in the morning, and that's when we went missing.
Okay, and how long has he worked with this guy, the one that he was seen last by?
According to him, he said my son was there only, I think, just a few minutes. I think it was probably 5 or 6 minutes. It wasn't long.
Okay, so 5 to 6 minutes to look at like rocks and dirt, or however, you know, like the things that they look at. I know it's like earth things that they look into, and it took only 5 to 6 minutes to look at stuff. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Does it make sense to you?
Well, that don't make sense, but what explained to me is that when he got there, he followed the gentleman down in there. Like I said, it's a mile. You have to go from the main road. You have to go a mile west, and then you have to go 2 miles north to get to this well site. But he said once they got to the well site, immediately started drizzling or something appeared to be raining. And that's when my son decided, hey, look, he had the ability to close the site down if he wanted to. So, hey, look, it's still coming in, or rain coming in, or whatever. Do you want to go back to Phoenix? Let's just go ahead and shut it down. Of course, the guy that was there, he decided he wanted to stay. And that was just a conversation they had. Hey, you decided to stay. I think the sales on the pass or something out of other. And then he said my son pretty much waved them off and got his vehicle and drove off. So.
Okay, so was there any sign of rain? From what he's saying, it sounded like it was supposed to start raining or drizzling, but was there any sign of any rain? Like, did you guys look into like the weather for that day?
Yeah, the weather for that day, it called for a slight chance of rain. It wasn't like a pour down or anything like that, because even if on his testimony, because I know the forecast is slight rain, but on his testimony, he was saying that the rain didn't last long. It drizzled a little bit and then stopped. Needed to stop kind of quickly.
Okay. So they normally, like, as far as like you said, like he does work at nighttime, and he also works. It's just there's not a set time, right? But he's saying that it was drizzling, and then there was no sign of it like raining where they can actually see if there was any water in that area where the supposed Jeep had the wreck.
Right, exactly. It wasn't raining. There wasn't a sufficient amount of rain to cause, for instance, the washes to run, or that river, that big river. I can't never say that name, but Haciana or whatever. Name that river. It wasn't enough rain to cause that to run. Also.
Okay. So did you ask the owner if it like if it drizzled that day, like he would be able to tell you yes or no?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I got most of my information from the rancher. He said, yeah, it was a sniff of rain. He said, when it rained, it only literally rained like 1 or 2 minutes, and that was it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Does anybody in the chat have any questions for Daniel Robinson's dad? He's on the phone with me right now. I went through all the questions we talked about last time, Justar. So if you have any more questions, we can go ahead and ask him right now, since I was able to catch up to him. He's a very busy man. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, he only did it on the phone." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we couldn't get on the online. It wasn't working for him. There's nothing we could do."
Walking out the door as I'm talking.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, I figured that. And they're gonna go back out when again?
Well, we're going back out for our search. I have a search on Saturday. It'll be at 6:45. We're gonna have people direct you in. If you come down to Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road, you'll see personnel out there that direct you into our command center.
Okay, so this is all just near where the incident happened.
Right, that's correct. We cover both the crash site and where the vehicle was found, and also the well site areas and farther out.
Okay. Oh, I had a quick question. Okay, from the job site to that area, how far is that? How many miles is that?
Well, Buckeye would tell people that it's 4 or so miles. When we check, it's only 2.5 miles. So it depends on who you ask.
Okay, so real quick, and I'm gonna let you go after this one, but so if it's only like 2.5, 3 miles, and then you guys said you found the sock. I think you said his second sock. They found another one like closer to the job.
Yeah, the sock that was original, the other sock was inside the evidence bag that the Buckeye Police Department collected from the crash site.
Right.
When I hired an investigator, he later found a sock near the well site. Once he was able to get into those evidence bags, he found the sock he found near the well site matched the sock that Buckeye collected at the scene of the crash site. So that was at 2 different times, of course, but the sock was a match to one of the socks that was collected.
Wow. Okay. Well, Okay, so thank you. I appreciate that. Whenever you get a chance, call me if you wanna. Whenever you wanna get on the live, I've been able to get more people on here. They've stayed longer, and so I would like to be able to talk to you. They could, be able to ask you questions as you're on the panel. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it. And I hope everything goes well this Saturday. Hopefully this will be over soon. That way you're not, going through all this it seems like every weekend is when you're dealing with this. And I know you're dealing with it every day, but to have to keep going out looking for him, I hope everything, gets resolved. Okay, so please give me a call whenever you're ready to get on live. I'd appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you too.
You're welcome.
Keep, reach out to me.
Okay, no problem. You have a great day, okay?
Do the same. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Daniel Robinson's dad. I'm going to show you guys a little video of who I just spoke to. Give me a second. Okay, I'm going to make it easier and just pull up the video because that didn't work out. I don't know why these emails do this to me. Okay. On surveillance video entering a retail store in Bloomington the morning of August 24th. Who are you to Daniel? First thing I'm going to ask you is, what is your name, please?
Yes, David Robinson.
And who are you to Daniel?
I am Daniel's father.
Okay. Can you guys hear everything clearly?
Yes.
No, I'm asking them. Hold on one second. Can you guys hear me clearly? And can you hear him clearly as well? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can see, hear me and him clearly. I actually have you on not only on YouTube, but also Facebook. So there's going to be multiple social medias hearing this.
Okay.
The more the better, right? We got to find him. Got to find him. Hold on, let me make sure they could hear us first. Shay, can you hear him clearly? Can you say something, Mr. David?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Can you guys hear him clearly? I'm just waiting for you for I don't know what's going that's not on this live, but the other live that I'm sharing. Okay, yes, they can hear you clearly. Great. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to find out quickly because I looked online because I was trying to find out his actual age and like when his birthday was going to be. They're saying January 14th, 1997. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So can you tell me what happened that day when Daniel came up missing, please?
Well, initially, we didn't know he was actually missing. We didn't know that he left his job and he didn't return his job. I was alerted. I was in Columbia, South Carolina, at home. I have a daughter here in Phoenix. She got alerted from one of Daniel's co-workers that came to her house, her apartment, and let her know that Daniel wasn't on a job. From that point, she decided to call me. I'm not sure if she called her mother, but she called me and let me know, hey, look, we're looking for Daniel. They said he was on his job and somehow he left and they don't know where he went. So at that point, it wasn't very striking at first. Of course, we have a big time difference from Arizona to South Carolina. Looking at the time, things didn't get really bad up front because, of course, trying to be level-headed. My daughter called me about it, so I had her to go go around, search his apartment, try to talk with his friends, see if he decided to go somewhere or something. After I started looking at the time, we couldn't locate him. It was getting over 6 hours from his job, saying that, the last they seen him on his job. That's when I knew, hey, something's not right, because Daniel, he'll never go any time longer than 6 hours anyway without telling anybody where he was, where he's going or what he's going to do for that day. So that's when I started doing a little bit more worrying as a father. I alerted his mother then, called her and let her know, hey, look, Daniel hasn't been seen over 6 hours. She agreed with me. That is not like him. So I decided to call the police department. I first called Tempe. My son is a resident of Tempe, Arizona, and so I called the Tempe Police Department. Those guys in turn told me to call Buckeye because that was the last place my son was seen. So I go ahead and call them and go ahead and put in that missing person report, but they rejected it first, explaining to me that he's over 18 years old. It takes at least about, I think they gave me 12 hours before you can put in a missing person. Now, that's time difference from my home and here in Arizona, and I had like 3 hours left or so. Waiting those 3 hours out, a little rough. Wait them out, call them back, say, hey, look, it's been 12 hours now. We need to do something about it. Buckeye Police Department was at front.
That's his father.
He is very helpful. He's kept contact with me. He put in a missing person report for me. He must have called me, seemed like every 10, 15 minutes. Of course, I wasn't getting no sleep that night. I wasn't willing to sleep either. I needed no answers. Constantly calling me, telling me some updates what he was doing.
Thank you for coming.
He's going to talk to some of the coworkers. He was he even drove up the area. I think the road at the time I didn't know, it was called Sun Valley Parkway. He drove up and down Sun Valley Parkway to see if he's on the side of the road or anything like that. He in turn also, like I say, just talk to people. And then the next morning, of course, I asked him, send somebody else. He said he couldn't do that because it was, so late. They couldn't get a bird in the air at night. So they'll try something in the morning. Of course, I talked to them the next morning. Look, here, y'all looking for my son. He said he tried to talk to his supervisors to get a bird in the air to go search. Because what he was told, what I was understanding at the time, my son drove off into that desert from the eyewitness that was there, the last guy to see my son.
Okay, and who was this person that saw your son last?
Well, the way it is, my son, he's like I said, he works for this company, Matrix New World. He's a field geologist for them. He went to school to be a geologist. They hired him on as a field geologist. His job is to go out to certain well sites all over the area of Arizona. I'm sorry. And he usually it's usually him and whoever he meet at the well site. A representative from a drilling company will always send one person, his company send him, for instance, his coworker with anybody. There's always two of them at the well site at any given time. He was sent there to meet a guy from a company called Weber at the well site. He met the guy on the road out there from out here. They drove down to the well site in the desert out there. My son decided to it's 9 o'clock in the morning, end the day because it seemed like it was going to rain. They had a discussion about that. According to the gentleman, my son got in his vehicle, kind of waved, left the site, and drove out west into the desert. That's where he was never seen again. And so yeah, he's definitely his job is just to be out, test the water, the rock settlements, and things like that. So that's his job out there.
Okay, so the guy who witnessed him leaving, saying bye and everything, was he questioned? Did they see if everything what he said was credible?
I don't know if they seen it was credible, but that's how I got the storyline. The storyline came from the Buckeye Police Department when Officer Cruz said he spoke with the workers, which was one of the guys that seen my son last. Is also when he said workers, he's talking about the guys at my son's company at the work site. So I'm not the work site at the well site, but his job. The only two people that was at the work site that day. That well site was my son and the other gentleman from the company. Well,
thank you, Just Star.
For Nature's New World. But yeah, they did question him that night. Officer Cruz said he questioned him that night, and that's where the story. That's when I first heard the story of my son supposedly made a west turn out there in the desert and disappeared in a sense, So that's one of the things that prompted me also from that and the fact that they didn't put that bird in the air the next day, next morning. It was counsel. What officers told me, it was counsel, his supervisor counsel. They say he's a grown man. Unless he was out there, we reported him as suicidal or something. They weren't going to do that. So that prompted me to get my vehicle and start heading out to Arizona because that was an acceptable answer for me. But in the process of that 3-day trip, by the time I was just getting here in Phoenix, I had an auntie from Philadelphia who was able to get into contact with the Buckeye Police in some way. She was able to convince them, at least that's they told us, to get the Firebird in the air from Phoenix Police Department to go out there and search.
Wow. Okay, so what is the name of the police that you've been talking to and dealing through?
Initially was Officer Cruz.
Cruz.
Then once I got here on the 26th of June, that's when they end up adding in a detective. I started dealing with that department.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so when exactly did they say the wreck happened? And was he in the car when the wreck happened? Do they know that?
Well, if you listen, there's two different I guess investigations in the sense of two different theory. From the point of the Buckeye Police Department, one thing I know at the time, of course I was out there, was satisfied.
Yeah, it was fun. We're gonna have to do it again, Buddha.
One search at the time, and also they had a second search. That's the first search I was speaking of, but then they had a second search with the Civil Air Patrol. That's before the vehicle was found, and so when the vehicle was found, it was found by a rancher. He owned that land out there, chasing his cattle. He ran into the vehicle. Of course, it was in the news at the time, local news. They looked for my son's vehicle, and he figured that's probably what the vehicle was because he remembered the description, so he called it into the Buckeye. So they're the one that
Located the Jeep?
Right, it's actually the rancher located the Jeep and called them in.
Okay.
Now, from the Buckeyes' perspective, they was telling me that yes, it appears the vehicle rolled over, went down a ravine, 20-foot ravine, rolled over several times. I think kind of nosedive or something, and then landed on its side. They tell me the airbags deployed. My son appeared to have a seatbelt on, and there was no blood in the vehicle.
Sorry to start.
What was explained to me is that, Officer Detective Diffin was asking me about my son's clothing, what type of underwear he wears. Do you wear briefs or boxers or something out of other? I told him, how would I know that? But they say all of that was on the ground. His socks, everything he was wearing on his person was 3 feet away from the vehicle in the pile. His safety vest was put away from that. They just say they didn't see any footprints or anything like that. They say they used cadaver dogs, search dogs. That came up empty. And the narrative was, the theory was, they tell me that the vehicle was going like over 30-some miles per hour at the impact. And like I say, he had the seatbelt on. Of course, I had to accept that story, other than the point where Detective Bismarck started explaining to me that his theory was that my son most likely sustained a major brain injury, and he shredded his clothes off. He walked out there in the desert naked, and he went to go to a monastery to become a monk or something out of it. And of course, saying things like that to me prompted me to, and also with my volunteers, we out there on the ground trying to search for my son, prompted me to get my own investigator. So the investigator changed. My investigator came in. He examined the exact data that the Buckeye Police Department pulled from the vehicle. He's an accident reconstructionist, by the way. Pull that data that they pulled from the black box off the vehicle. He looked at the damage on the vehicle. He also took the statement from the rancher, who took dozens of pictures before the officers got there. And with everything that he has gotten, he realized, first of all, just looking at seeing the vehicle, examining the vehicle, the damage wasn't done on any kind of on that terrain. It didn't match the terrain. There was no damage to the roof of the vehicle, so it wasn't a rollover. And so when he went into the data that the Buckeye Police Department shared with him, he found that not only the vehicle was crashed multiple times, but when the first airbag deployment, the vehicle was cranked over 40-some times. It was driven over several miles, I think roughly, they say 7 or 12 miles after the first initial crash. And because of the terrain and everything, where the vehicles landed, and looking at the tracks and everything, the vehicle seemed to have been staged where it was at, where it was located. And also, like I said, with the testimony of the rancher who chases his cattle, his land, he was there 2 days prior, and the vehicle wasn't there in that area. He explained the rancher explained a lot of things. Hey, look, there. They didn't have enough dirt on it. His cattle would have been licking on it. There would have been, cow stuff around it. They would have been, they would have been messing with it. They would have been messing with that vehicle. Only because he had also had a case of water in there, and they would have been trying to get to the water. They would have been messing with the clothing on the ground, that kind of stuff. With all of that, that was an indication of possible foul play. My investigator was able to take the entertainment system and get the exact time, and when the first air deployment was made, the first initial crash, it was 4 hours after my son went missing on the same day. So there's a lot of information out there with that that indicates that it's possible foul play. We turned that over to Buckeye Police Department, which now took that information and shut down. They won't talk to my investigator anymore. They don't talk to me anymore. and give me information. So I had to turn to a petition and turn to the media to try to get them to do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was actually looking into the case, and he did say that they drove an additional 11 miles after the airbag deployed. I don't know how that happened, because when an airbag deploys, your steering wheel literally bursts. The whole part where the airbag is, it bursts.
Yes.
So how could that person or I'm not going to say your son, because how could that person, whoever it is that drove the additional 11 miles, could have did that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, because my husband has been in a wreck before. We live in Louisiana. He got into a wreck and he hit a deer, and and he ended up, his airbag deployed, and there's no fixing it. You literally have to get a whole new steering wheel. There's no way. So that part does not make any sense to me. As well as he said they tried to turn it 46 times after the accident happened.
Right.
I'm like, what? I don't understand that. So they're not 100% that your child was in there when the wreck happened, right?
I don't know. And I don't know, and that's what the question I kind of asked the Buckeye Police Department. Like, look, I had to sit down with Chief Hall and his staff and his detectives. Once the vehicle's found, I mean, they literally, the detective literally called me in the next day when that vehicle was found. Hit me up to the
Keep
police
forgetting my
department
mute
up there,
button.
and,
How are you, Tracy? Thank you for coming
after
in.
he showed me the vehicles,
Yeah,
told away
we're
and
kind of like going in and out of Miss B's. Like, I'm on my phone for her and on my computer on
angry
here.
about that.
Appreciate it.
Found out they didn't do any forensics work on the scene, things like that. So of course
I'm still waiting for you to get on my live though.
About that.
Mm-hmm.
I asked the same question. Look, how you know my son's in the vehicle?
Yeah.
The answer was, obviously, it's his vehicle, so he obviously was in it somehow or other. I was like, well, how you really know that? In the forensic work. No, we didn't do any forensic work with that because there was no blood in the vehicle. Okay, well, I think about scan, everything, fingerprinting or whatever. We'll make a long story of that. After I fussed about it, they waited 3 days or so afterwards. They decided to hold the vehicle another additional days to do fingerprinting on it. But it was after the fact that they moved it from the scene, got it back in their compound, and decided to do that kind of work. That's the question I always have myself. Like, look, how you know my son was there?
Yeah.
They botched the whole thing. So a lot of things never get answered for, I guess.
Oh, you were going to get answers, because hopefully, this gets out there, because I was dumbfounded when I found out that nobody knew about this, about Daniel. There's a bunch of cases that are out there that nobody knows anything about. And I'm really dumbfounded by this, because it's a big thing. It's not something small. It's a big thing. Why doesn't everybody know about this? They have certain cases that are blown up to where everything gets taken care of within, weeks of it happening. And here's this case since, hold on one second. Let me see. June 23rd to this date, and he's not found. And then they don't even know if he drove that car, if he was in that car when this wreck happened. But they want to say that they don't want to go look into it. Excuse me. I get very distracted, I get upset when I hear things like this. So I kind of can't get my words out. But I just don't get how they can sit here and tell you they're not going to look. That's why I kept muting my phone. The car, and because there's no blood, there's no this or that. There's a way to find things. There's the smallest little speck of anything, any tiny fingerprint, anything they could find that was not supposed to have been in that car, that is not your son's. They can say, hey, we'll start looking into this, and they can take these clues and turn it into something and be able to tell you what's going on, instead of sitting here telling you they can't do anything about it. I don't get that.
They don't want to do anything about it. That's my impression. anytime you can turn the vehicle over to me the next day after you found it. You didn't do any forensics work,
Yeah,
right?
and then after that, I'll be
And then
getting
you
on
turned over
Buddha's.
all my son's belongings.
I don't know if I'm gonna stay live for that, like stay on the live all that time, but I'm definitely gonna show love on Buddha's channel.
You're not planning to do anything with it, you know. You're not planning to do any further investigation. They came
Cause
on.
she's always coming in here showing love, so I gotta show love too.
And say, hey, we exhausted
Not
all
just
our
because
leads.
she shows love, but because I
There's
want
no,
to.
no,
She's a sweetheart.
no foul play. We exhausted all our leads.
Wow.
They didn't go to the leads because they didn't search for anything. Because it's ironic that when they said that, I was able to start a search, and I love my volunteers. They work hard, rigorously. We have our searches from 5:45 in the morning for a safety briefing, and then we'll be out there from 6 o'clock on. You know, it's supposed to be 6 to 10, but a lot of people have to stay on later.
Yeah.
And we found more things as civilians than Buckeye have as a professional.
Wow.
So if they exhausted all their leads, how come we was finding things? We found a skull that they're trying to take credit for. You know, just certain little things. Found the human remains. We know those human remains. We took pictures, but they now turn to say they're all animal bones or something. So, you know, we found a lot in the same area they say they searched. So they don't want to really do real, work real hard work. It's one thing to put a plane in the air and fly, and so you can put it on your logbook and say, hey, look, I was looking for this guy. We put a bird in the air. We had air patrol. We did this. But when you count your searches up, you only did three searches. But you spread it out and you put it out there in the media.
I feel ya.
You word it a certain way to make it seem like it was multiple, and you work with all these agencies, and you know, no, it's opposite of that.
Appreciate y'all though. Totally appreciate y'all.
The work was done by myself and my volunteers.
I can't wait till the game day tomorrow, y'all.
They work really hard.
Thank God for the volunteers. Thank God for the
I'm gonna
get everything set up today, so we'll be ready for it
And
tomorrow.
I'm not gonna let anybody take credit away from them. Those people worked hard, and they still out there. Like, as we speak, you know, you have people out there taking their own time to go search for Daniel. You would never see Buckeye out there searching for Daniel. So I'm not bashing the police, but I'm just making awareness of what's really going on.
And please hit
sometimes
that
wording
like. I'd
what
appreciate it
people
as
say
well.
could be a false perception of what's really going on.
Right. So I hate to put this in this way, but this is the only way I could put it. But I feel like it's a race thing. If it was a white person, would they be treating you as the same? I'm just trying to put that out there.
And you know, I hope not. And that's the thing. You know, I think about 98% of my volunteers, for instance, are white people, and I love them to death.
That's awesome. No, I'm not. Yeah, not on their part. I'm talking about in the police part of it, because I hear a lot of people say they take some cases and they treat them like gold, and other cases like they're nothing, like it's not worth their time.
That's true. That's true, and that's what I'm saying. It's hard to want to think that way, but then you have to come to the reality. It always slaps you in the face every time. You try to think opposite of that. Like, you know what? Everybody's not the same, and then they end up turning out to be the same way. Yeah. When I was forced to look at other people's cases, I have people call me all the time about their loved ones missing and things like that. And so that kind of forced me to start looking, do my own research about things. And I see a lot of people of color, for instance, you never hear about.
Right.
And I'm like, why is that? You know, and so it do make you kind of wonder sometimes.
Yes.
What's going on?
Yes. I mean, like I said, like they got this case right now that they just found the girl. She was murdered, and it was a homicide. But they got that case done like within like what? Tracy, are approximately you 2 serious? weeks. They did that, and here this has been going on since June 23rd. I mean, wow, this is ridiculous. That's why I don't like it's clickbait, unacceptable. because it'll make I you don't think understand something's why going they on would do that's not this. true. There's so many cases out there, like you said, people of color who are being treated like they're, you know, way different than they treat white people. I'm sorry to say. I hate to put it that way, but that's just the way I feel. My husband is African American, so I'm, you know, I'm not, but he's definitely African American. My kids are mixed, so I definitely see a lot of that. I do see a lot of that because my husband's African American. I do see a lot of it, how they treat people and mistreat them. So I hope this gets out here. I will, like I said, I have it going on my Facebook. I have it going on my multiple YouTube channels. I'm also going to share this on my Instagram. Once I'm finished, I'll go ahead and send it to them. They'll be able to look at. I have over 4,000 people on there. I have over 10K on my TikTok. So I will be sharing it on all my social medias. And I want them to all to try and see if anybody's in Arizona, they can try and help and look for him as well.
Yes.
That you guys need all the help you can get. And I know you probably got a massive amount of volunteers, but it's never too much.
Exactly. And also it brings awareness to other people, families who go through the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. I just actually was looking on the website while I was waiting for you. I was actually looking on the website and I saw another person that's been missing for a while now. His name is Jemiah, I think is how you say his name, Jemiah.
Yeah.
You heard about him?
Yes.
Yes. So that's another person that needs to be looked into as well. Like, come on, what is going on in this world? Stop. I don't get it. You guys they need to really look into it as soon as it pops up. And as soon as the parent calls, says, look, because nowadays it's going on too much. So when a parent calls and says my child is missing, take it serious. Nobody's going to play around like this. Nobody's going to sit here and say that something's going on that's not going on. So they need to take it serious.
Yeah, the first 48 hours is crucial.
Yes. Because how do we know if let's just say it was him driving and he was injured. He could have been sitting on the side of that car until somebody came and helped him. If they would have just looked for him within 24 to 48 hours, who knows? Maybe the outcome would be different. You wouldn't be sitting here searching for him. You wouldn't have a PI looking for him, searching, trying to figure things out with the car, the way it was driven 11 miles more. And they're finding, you said they found his clothes outside of the car?
Yes, everything he was wearing, right. Indicating that he, walked off undressed.
That's weird. Why would they say that? That doesn't sound right to me.
Yes.
So does that sound right to you? Like why would your child, your kid, would your kid do something like that? Like just take his clothes off and just go?
I know he wouldn't do that.
No.
And the fact that it's his Buckeye Police Department collected all those items, and like I said, batted up and gave it to me. I never opened those items or the bags they gave me. I turned it over to my investigator once he came on board. And one of my searchers out there, my investigator came along, his team did their job. They ended up finding one of my son's socks near the work site that he went missing, which is only 2 miles away, about roughly 2 miles away from the crash site, the found vehicle. But they found a sock out there. He thought it was weird. He took his proper protocol of camps in that little area, look for things, and then out of curiosity, he was able to get that bag opened the proper way, evidence bag. And lo and behold, that sock that they found out there matched one of the socks inside the evidence bag. So that indicates something happened near that well site. So a lot of that is at the same time they still come to a fact, say, hey, look, we're still not suspecting foul play. And the only thing I can think of them keep staying on that thing is so they don't have to do anything, because once they call it a possible criminal case, that means they have to actually do some work,
Right.
So and that's easy for them. If they can keep it that way and keep it just a missing person case, that means they don't have to do anything.
Right. I have someone in the chat that said, have they checked the fuse box to find out where the vehicle dislocator is and fingerprint it? Definitely not cool.
I don't know what that is.
Buddha, can you expand on your, put a detail in text in there or chat in there, please, so we can see if we can explain that? It would help a lot, please. Thank you. Yeah, and then Shay in there also says it seems like foul play to me. It does. It definitely does. I mean, like he said, it doesn't make sense how if the Jeep was in such a bad way and then somebody just drives it a whole nother 11 miles after the airbag deployed. I really don't get that part. So let me see if she can figure it out. Maybe I can look it up. Let's see, the fuse box locator. Let's see. I can look that up while we're on here.
Okay.
Fuse box dislocator. Okay. It's saying like where the electrical fuses are.
Yeah, I haven't actually everything on that vehicle. My investigator, he's in turn took possession of that vehicle. So anything, I haven't even personally myself looked into that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even touched the vehicle. So those that device that was she's asking, the person asking
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of that device, but I'm sure my investigator went through everything on that vehicle. I'm really confident he did. At least I hope so.
Right. Can you maybe mention that and see if maybe he knows what that is to explain to you a little bit more of what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. And then if you could give me that information, that way we can put it out there. Then, once they do find out if there's anything, if there was anything else they could find, I really want to help you find Daniel. That's his name, guys. His name is Daniel Robinson, and his dad's name is David Robinson. He has brothers and sisters that's going through it as well. They want to find their brother, and he wants to find his son. And I know that you said you had somewhere to go by what time?
Yes, my time is located now.
Oh, okay, you're there. Okay, so yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to try to get this word out about Daniel Robinson being missing and where he's from, what happened. Share this as far as it can go, like to the end, to the end of the world. Just like share it. Everybody share it so we can get all this out. Sorry.
I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I hope we do. I hope we do find him. I'm not even kidding. When you find him, make sure you let me know because I would love to hear good news. I love to hear good news. And I really think prayers work as well. Putting it in God's hands, and he'll do what he has to do for you as well.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your listeners. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I just wish a lot of other people got in here, but so many people are worrying about these other cases that are, they're actually just about done with the case. They just have to find out who did it. And I feel like, no, let's get on the cases that are not being resolved yet. Those are the ones you need to get on. Don't get on the ones that are already basically resolved. Let's get on the ones that are, that need help and need to find what's going on and I just can't. I don't understand this. I really can't understand this at all. It's just too much of it. Too much of missing children. Too much missing adults, young adults. I mean, I don't know. It's sad.
Yes, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you have a wonderful day. And thank you for coming and talking to us. I wish you would have been able to get on the panel. They would have been able to see you. But I get it. I get it.
Yes, we good. I used a different phone this time.
Okay. All right. So we'll get back on here again and talk about it again. If you find out anything else, please don't hesitate to let me know, and we'll get on here and do it again and get that more information out there for everybody to hear. And also next time, we'll get on the panel so that way we can actually see each other, meet each other in person. That would be great. And maybe we can, get more information out there. Like I said, I'm going to put it on all my social medias. When I say my TikTok is over 10K, I'm going to try to get all these people to kind of start sharing this. And we're going to get this going here. We're going to get it going.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You are welcome. And you have a wonderful and fabulous day. And stay safe because, we still have that virus thing floating around.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay safe. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. David. Bye-bye. So that's his dad. We couldn't get him on here, and you heard him. He had a hard time getting on. Next time he said he's going to use a different phone, and that way we can go ahead and, hopefully we'll be able to help him. Funny And like I shade. said, I'm going to share this on all my social medias. So
I'm
we
just
can
kidding.
get this
Thank you. I appreciate
information
that.
out there. We need to come
I
on
didn't
and
even
find
think about
him.
that.
Such a young person to go through this. And Crafty One, hello, how are you? And no. So you guys, I was thinking about putting Buddha's live on here for a little bit, so we can get everybody over there. Let's see. She's reading a book, very interesting book. I enjoyed it.
Ultimately, though, I decided that the word God was the best term for me because it allows for this force feels unknowable, mysterious nature. Since the episode with the tree, I have been blessed with many moments of heightened awareness. But that first conscious experience of the presence of God was the most renovating and transformational. Yes, it was. In the blink of an eye, everything changed. I changed, and yet everything appeared the same. I knew that whatever the experience had been, I wanted more of it. I wanted to live my whole life from that place.
So basically, I'm gonna be getting off for a little bit and probably get back on a little bit. Unless you guys want to watch me cook. What do y'all think? Actually, no. I know what I could do. I can get off and watch Buddha and Miss B at the same time while I cook. So that way I'm not doing too much at one time and end up burning the food. That would not be funny. Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys coming in here. Oh my goodness, now we got 8 more. We got 8 people in the house. I hate to leave. I appreciate y'all coming in here. Appreciate it big time. So yeah, that's the father was in here and talking about excuse me. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, he was talking about his son, Daniel Robinson, and his name is David Robinson. And he gave us a little more information on what's going on. And he will be getting back to me soon, hopefully. But they'll be going back over there, and he and his volunteers will be looking for his son some more. But I just wanted, oh, she's done? Okay, well, I guess we could stay on here then. All right, we'll stay on here. She just got off. So, okay, we'll stay on here. Hold on. Buddha. Let me get Buddha on my phone so that way I could stay on hers.
And
Because I heard her read last time. It was cool. Jeanette, yeah, I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cook while you guys are on the phone and we could talk. I mean on the live and we could talk. Unless you guys have something to do, because like I don't want to keep you from doing what you need to do. I don't know why I look so tired when I'm not even tired. That's crazy. Are you guys able to see Buddha's live? Because I could actually share it on here. Yeah, Buddha has a channel. If you guys want me to share it on here, I can. Hold on. Yeah, it's Buddha of Destiny Namaste.
Human effort can compare. For a period of time, perhaps as long as 6 months after the light opened up inside me, I was wide open in consciousness. I felt as if I had entered a new dimension of living, and in fact, that was what had occurred.
I will share it. Give me a
Everywhere I
second.
went,
Let me
I would
put it
get
in the chat.
a hit, a sense of knowing, and whatever I saw was God and the expression of God, that I was this shit. Let me see. Of God. And that I was one with it. That's what I thought. Yeah. And that I was one with it. Standing in the line at the grocery store, I would quirk at the realization that all who were present were one. Driving down beautiful Lakeshore Drive in Chicago,
Okay, so I just
accepted
dropped her
that
link.
everything I encountered
If you guys want to
was
hop over
God,
there, it's fine.
and that I was a
And then
part of it.
just get back on
Passing
later.
the Caribbean green
Whatever you guys want to
housing
do.
projects jostled my world as that hit of awareness told me that this too was the face of God and that I was related to it. I felt a bit nutty, yet it was so much better than being stuck and miserable, and that I went with it. My mother was a godsend during that time. She has a strong mystical awareness and is unafraid of
Hey, Miss V.
spiritual reality. A progressive Catholic who has always been way ahead of her time. She supported me.
Yeah, I
from
put
her
the
point
link
of
in the
view,
chat.
offering guidance and knowledge about the Mass, the mystery of the Trinity, and the Scripture.
Which
Her
of you
support
guys are
of me
ready for
has
tomorrow's game day?
never wavered, and for this I am eternally grateful. Still, even her radical approach to a traditional path was not mine. Exploring new avenues. J-Star! Hello! I'm good. How are you? I hope everything's good. I hope you're staying blessed. Please type BUDDHA in the chat and it will drop your link, J-Star. Everybody connect. Training is my sister from another mother. It is 3:49 a.m. right now where she's at. That's why she's from another mother. So please connect, everybody. Oh, just kidding, Buddha. What'd you say, Benin? Oh, Lord. I won't say vodka. No. I haven't had vodka, honestly. Shit. That's how long it's been. 38. I just turned 38. So probably, let me see. No, because when my dad died, I turned right before I turned 31. So it would be 31. Yeah. I turned 31 June 26. My dad passed June 13. And I stopped drinking the day I stopped being friends with my best friend because she wouldn't go to church. Like, the person that took me in was my homegirl, because if I stayed here, I would kill my brother. Like, seriously. I felt that much anger at that time. So I had to go. Like, I took my stuff and I left for my own sake. It's 3:51. Stop speeding up the time, Trending. See, Trending speeding up the time. Trending, go to bed if you want to go to bed. No, but I stopped drinking like probably Christmas. I don't know, like November when I was 31, like around there. I don't drink no more. Yeah, I drink once in a blue moon. That's like
I didn't know
maybe a
it does
pale
that.
ale,
That's crazy.
which is organic,
never had to
which
wait.
is not even. It's made of hops.
Hi, Naomi. How are you?
But if I do go out, I mean, I have a little cup like that. It's a shot of it's called this, so do not choke me. That's what it's called. A red-headed and then the S word. You know, the bad S word. Hey, enjoy my world. Everything's good. I'm keeping my immune system up and I'm keeping my faith up. So I hope everything's good with you and work and the family.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was hit by an 18-wheeler. That's why most people think I'm drunk or like I'm high or like I do drugs or some shit like that. No, it's because I have a speech impairment. Okay, I was hit by an 18-wheeler. So yeah, I have most people was tucked
Hey,
out there,
Naomi.
but yeah, I have a speech impairment. So that's where I was straight, and then I was cut open to repair my spleen, my diaphragm. I had pelvic fracture, hip fracture. I tore my ACL, MCL. I have this scar. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know. Some people say it looks like Michael Jordan, but like, I don't know, if I go in the sun, y'all can see this. It's like crazy. Y'all see that? You guys see that nice little Michael Jordan on my forehead? But yeah, pale ale. My light activation instructor told me to drink that. Yeah, I almost died at the age of 25. I had internal bleeding. I had a 9% chance of surviving. I was rushed to emergency surgery where they operated on me, and I was kind of angry because I had to be given a blood transfusion, and I'm against that, especially in the area where the accident happened. It happened in Hollywood, Florida, and everybody's known to have like something wrong with them. And
All right,
I
you
didn't
guys,
want
I'm going to
nobody's
boot
blood
us.
or nothing. But
Bye, y'all.
at that time in my life, I wasn't
Hit that like
speaking to my
before you go,
parents.
please.
And the day of the car accident, my friend came to the hospital and asked, "Where's my phone?" to my other friend who was in the vehicle, and
You guys go to
she
Buddha's
got mad
house.
because she walked away with a black eye.
You
Because
drop
I
that
gave her the
link
black
again.
eye. I leaned over real quick to I didn't mean to hit her.
There you
I
go.
just covered her real fast, and
There
I
y'all
had
go.
left my foot on
All right,
the
you guys
driver's
hit
side,
Buddha's house.
my
Go over to
left
her
foot,
house, and I'll
and
be back either
it
later
had got
on, but
stuck
definitely
from the
tomorrow for the
pedals.
game day.
So when the 18
Bye,
wheeler
y'all.
came,
Thank you for coming.
it slid my
Hit that
whole
like on your
truck.
way
I
out.
had a
Thanks.
95 Chevy Silverado pickup truck, 1500. So